We live, baby. Happy Sunday. Happy Palm Sunday to those who celebrate. The first son of two pastors, so I definitely do. And I think Pastor Blackwell is coming soon. Excited to be in front of you today with two of the original four co-founders of Pills and two of the current leaders of Pills Enterprises as we both celebrate my fellow brother who's come up on leadership on a different stage nationally. That's part one. That's the first part. Part two, continue to share some of the updates along the way of our journey to being 10 years old. Pills has been in the game. Shout out to our original founder, Dr. Brian Blackwell. Haha. Dr. Brian Sackey. Dr. Brian Sackey. That's
Oh
but
man,
you know what? That was God because our original
man.
founder, Dr. Brian Sackey, talked to Dr. Joshua Blackwell after a church service, and after that conversation, that's what took it national. That's a
Yes,
feedback. So that
yes.
low key is true. Um, but part two is us just sharing a couple of things that are both happening and will happen as we celebrate 10 years. And then lastly, share, some of the things that we're seeing as practitioners on the clinical side and corporate side of our healthcare profession. And so big shout out to Dr. Blackwell as I give that very long intro on purpose because we're going across all of our platforms. Hopefully, you're hearing from me live from Instagram, live from X, live from YouTube, and for those who have the link, live from StreamYard, our multi-streaming platform. Whenever y'all want to send me anything from a branding standpoint, StreamYard, I'm here. But with that, Dr. Blackwell, how you feeling on this Sunday?
Feeling blessed, highly favored, amen. For all those who went to church this Palm Sunday, but uh, just truly reflective, but also definitely blessed in a lot of ways. And I think we're going to talk about that. When you get to an opportunity to overcome challenges and still be able to give back to people, I mean, that's what Pills is all about. And so, you're right. We started in church. Brian, one day after service, he felt compelled to tell me the vision, and now here we are, almost 10 years later, which I cannot believe. And so, definitely, it's a privilege to be here.
Yeah. And a privilege to be here. This episode, probably about 15 minutes, is brought to you by the power of Pills Productions. The Pills membership team would beat me upside the head if I didn't start up front. You're going to hear this a couple of times. We are now in the final days of our first 100 campaign where we're just a couple of people short of our first 100. But hey, April 1st, it's not an April Fool. That's when we are finally ending the campaign. Excited for all 90 plus people who have joined us along this journey over the last couple of months to be a part of the Pills Plus membership. What it does gift you is what's happening now. Our membership got to see our application first for our marquee program, the Pills Protege program. We're also kicking off a series of conversation series called Now What? You've landed your first job, you've landed your first clinical residency, you've landed your first corporate fellowship. Now what? What should you be doing in the middle, in the margin? And as you think of our also the success we've had with our protege program, we've crafted a program led by both current and former proteges for the professional program. So if you think of the protege program truly starting at your P4 year, we have connectivity to P1 through 3. You think about the Now What conversation series, and then you think of, okay, now in the profession, whether you're a couple years in or 10 years in, how are you continuing to cultivate your progression personally and professionally? That's all coming this year. And so with that, you have the opportunity. The links are live on our Instagram, our website. Go ahead and check those out to join on the last couple of days before we close out the lifetime. So lifetime membership for $255. That's less than $5 a day for the rest of your life. But being more specific, we're excited for the success of it and how many people have already joined it. So with that, Dr. Blackwell talked about being reflective. I do want to reflect on you just got named amongst 30 other people on a national organization to be a fellow. And wanted to first give you the opportunity to share when you heard the news. How did you feel? But then, two, what does it take to get there, to be nationally recognized? This is an organization that, while I love all the certifications and acknowledgments that we do get, this was something that was done for an organization that's been around longer than I've been alive, longer than either one of us has been alive. So I wanted to hear a little bit more about what you've done.
Yeah, it's now I'm at a loss for words. I don't know why. But I think when I first heard about, me being named a fellow, it was a moment where, even though, of course, everything, a lot's going on, but with everything that's happened, it was like, wow, I achieved a goal that I sought out for, since I was in residency. And it was an opportunity where, you look back and you're like, dang, how am I going to get there? How am I going to make it? How am I going to even build up the credentials to become a fellow of ASHP, let alone a fellow of the state? How do you build those credentials up? And so, you talked about the 10-year journey. Well, it takes 10 years to be even eligible to apply for the national ASHP one. TSHP is a little bit different. It's a little bit shorter time frame, but with ASHP, you have to be at least 10 years in the profession after you graduate. And so it's something that I saw for myself before it really manifested. It really did. But I had to do the work. And so it took a lot of different things. So there's different criteria with it. So you have to showcase academic scholarship. And so taking on resident students, precepting, my service as a residency program leader for the Health System Pharmacy Administration Leadership Residency Program. But then I also talked about my work at Hopkins as a residency program leader, and then some of the things I'm doing here at UT Southwestern. So that fulfilled that. Serving in health system leadership for almost a decade is something that they looked into. So the programming I've done, the clinical specialists and the clinical programmings that I've initiated as well, they took in consideration. But you also have to be involved even after work. And I think a lot of professionals, they want to know, what can I do at work? Sometimes the work happens behind the scenes. Sometimes the work happens after hours or off hours. So how are you investing yourself even when you're not physically at your 8 to 4:30 job? And so I had to serve in several capacities, both at the state level as well as the national level. So state level, I'm just coming off the board of directors for TSHP. So that's happening in April, because I have now served for 3 years as the chair of the Council on Public Affairs and Advocacy for the Texas Society of Health System Pharmacy, but also my tenure within Maryland. I was the chair of the Legislative Affairs Committee there. And so those were both state. And then they look at national. So nationally, current vice chair of the Education Steering Committee for the section of pharmacy practice leaders, and then also was able to be appointed by the board of directors, specifically the president-elect at the time, to chair on the Council on Education and Workforce Development. And so I was able to create different policy, legislative opportunities, serve my profession on the Hill. And so a lot of different things. But you have to put all 10 years on an application. So first of all, how do you even create a plan to get to that goal? And I think that's very important, that one of our key stakes or 4Bs is to be valuable. How over 10 years did I showcase value to the profession of pharmacy, let alone the health system ecosystem? And so how did I propel myself and utilize the platforms that have been given to me to really showcase that at a level that was unique? One of the greatest things that I will say is being on the committee for diversity, equity, inclusion. And that was at the time George Floyd happened. I think that's what catapulted me, where I was able to represent us. I was represent my community that was struggling and that was fighting every single day. Not to say that we don't fight every single day now, but like fighting literally every single day, just to even get to work, just to represent our families, just to be even go through another day at that time. So that is something else that I brought value to. but you also have to be visible on the court and off the court. What I mean by on the court, it's March Madness, so I want to put a little basketball there. But on the court, meaning on your job. Off the court, meaning what are you doing behind the scenes? So everyone looks at George and I as like, how are you and George just always doing the things even after the things? And sometimes I always say, I don't even know. But in reality, off the court, we're always amplifying and building communities and individuals that we want to see. We want to build ecosystems that we want our kids to live in. That something that's going to outlive before us because we have that vision. And so that's how you do those things as well. And that's what I did in TSHP and ASHP. So you got to also be vocal about the profession, vocal about what you stand for, and also be vulnerable to you're definitely your core team, and be vulnerable with the individuals that are around you. So none else to say that it's been a journey, man. I'm definitely blessed. Those are some of the tactics that I used. And when it comes to pills, that's something that I continue to do, even within the organization, especially when I'm coaching or providing leadership support for the team. That's something that I continue to do on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. So this thing that you shared across a lot of the stories that you just shared with us was something around vision. You talked about, hey, this is a goal that I had set out to achieve ever since you started residency. You also talked about literally, not figuratively, because we talk about it, but I want to make it real. It takes 10 years to do anything great. And this is whether you're talking about not just you, but anyone. You're talking about taking a company from beginning of an idea to IPO. You're taking a drug molecule from being in the lab to being in with patients. You talk about the journey of pills to get to where we're getting to. You talk about what you needed to be a fellow of the American Society of Healthcare Professionals, ASHP, which is, again, the number one, not just by me, it's by the world organization that truly governs and oversees the practices of health systems. And to be not just a resident, but a fellow, that is a big deal. American Society of Health System Pharmacists. And so being a fellow of ASHP, not APHA, not pills, not doses of melanin. I named all those organizations because I love them. But
we all do. We do.
The governing society amongst 30 other people of a very tenuous application process, and being in your first opportunity to is not something that we take lightly. So I want to pull all that to say it takes vision, it takes impact across the vision, and making sure that you're being very steadfast. But then what he also talked about was just the marathon that it took. We're in March Madness right now. No matter how your season's going, it's a marathon. So it's something. It's something that takes true fervor, passion, and dedication through obstacles to continue, not just for the goal, but investing your behaviors so that the goal just becomes a cherry on top. So proud of you for doing that. And when I say doing that, not just becoming a fellow, proud of you for demonstrating and showcasing just what it took to be there. It took vulnerability to say what the vision was. It took visibility on your local stage. It took being vocal on the national stage for you to even be seen as not just someone in Maryland, just that, or someone just in Texas, but at the national stage, leading your peers and pulling up people. And then when you pull all those together, it definitely showed value. And so again, pouring into you as a leader that cares for so many. We're proud of you on behalf of Pills, on behalf of being your fellow brother. Fellows now, but I ain't never been a resident, so you win with that.
Well, I'm still going through my fellowship, but you did say something there that I wanted to double down on, and I think that's what we're so excited about with this platform that it took years to build. But I would say that I am honored that when we were rethinking how SNAP for Leadership was done, I was a part of that, to be in the initial. We talk about with Pills. I didn't know anything about what Brian was going to tell me, and yet here we are 10 years later. But had I said no to being in the initial on the ground, because when you think about a building, it's a lot of dirt. It starts off with dirt. A plant starts off with dirt. So it's not pretty. It doesn't feel like you walk all over it because you don't feel like it's valuable, right? But we were part of the initial, and to be a part of that, to build something, even with this platform that we're building today, I think people should be excited about it. It should be an honor to say, like, let me get in boots on the ground first before it goes and blows up and changes ecosystems and cultures and dynamics and all that. So that's my shameless plug to say we want you all to be on this platform, not just to be a lifetime member, but really to build with us. Because when you're building with us, you're getting dirty and you're building those skill sets. You're learning different cultures, building different communities. You're putting yourself out there and really building your brand. And so that's how you build 10 years. You don't build it for when it's beautiful and you're at the top of the tower. You're building as you go. And so that's why we want you to be a part of this platform here before the prices go up. They're going up, April 1st. So definitely want to piggyback on what you said, bro.
No, I appreciate that. And so as we think about, to your point, the opportunity that's in front of us, not just for the road to September, which is our true 10-year anniversary, but more so the opportunity that we have to cultivate and lead leaders, to connect the dots, to make sure that people understand to get anywhere, there's no one that's self-made. You need not just a community of people, you need not just vision, but you need help, support, and vice versa. You must also be the help and support of others. What are some of the things you're excited about for the upcoming Protege season? For those who don't know, we just dropped Early Bird in our Instagram stories. That's our biggest, most engaged platform. Our Protege 2027 application. You must be a Pills Plus member. And so making sure, as Dr. Blackwell alluded to, you get in for the last few days of the lifetime membership starting April 1st. We will no longer be offering the lifetime. We will only be offering a yearly membership to Pills. So April to April. It's significant with Q2, just starting things up in Q2 and making sure you don't just start in January, but you also start in the middle of the year. But then also we've also had the opportunity for people to invest monthly versus one big lump sum. And so it's still going to be for a year. You can't opt out if you're just paying a monthly. And just like anything, it's a system that we're leveraging. We'll continue to iterate on it based off your feedback. But as you think of the internal, not the operational pieces I just alluded to, opportunity to have our proteges for the first time ever leading pretty much the entire program. What are some of the things you're looking towards in having the first and only program that caters to both people looking for their first choice residency and or people looking for their first choice fellowship?
I think what I'm looking forward to is seeing the skill sets and the tools that we've invested into this current Protege class give back to the next. I think, we're creating systems here. And so I'm looking forward to seeing that and utilizing something we've invested in them to be used for the greater good of somebody else. I think that's the greatest thing that I'm looking forward to. I'm also looking forward to for them to put us to shame. You always, when you have kids, you want them to be better than you are. So I want them to come guns blazing, 100% out the gate. Everybody is engaged. Everybody has gotten their first choice postgraduate opportunity. I'm looking forward to seeing that, because not only will it prove that our concepts work, but it also will prove, more importantly, that our investments are going to be working even beyond us. And so that's something that I'm excited about. And as we're talking about all this 10 years and investing and seeing things happen, Gio, what are you excited about this upcoming
year? To build on what you just said, I'm looking forward to our proteges to redefine what's possible. I think they've already taken a look at the curriculum that they went through, already made optimizations. So big shout out to our what is now being coined by one of our leaders, the junior leadership team. As I think of our chiefs, Sam, Fola, and Nancy, they've really come in, even in their leadership year to guide the current protege program, and they will be leading the next one upcoming in 2027 as they literally graduate later this year and move on. Ironically, every single one of them going to Lilly. Our interns, shout out to Janai and Ogechi and Lauren, who have all stepped up to be more than interns. They're truly leadership members of our junior leadership team. Janai specifically, being a full-time employee, going through the protege program, and then having the perspective of a working professional, so much so to where throughout her internship, she got promoted to now manage people. And so she's actually using the protege program as an opportunity to sharpen her leadership skills in real life. And so because of that, she's already continued to refine our protege program to not just get you your residency or fellowship, but to help attract people like Miriam, who is not officially a part of our leadership team yet, but doing a short-term assignment project to help bring through two gaps that we've had. The gap between getting that next stage and starting that next stage, which we're now, with her own mind and magic, coined the Now What content conversation series that we host within Mighty. But then two, she's also raised her hand to help create content with Sam, who's been leading that effort for the entire organization, along with Dr. Kevin Darko, who's leading our professionals programming. And so she's bringing a real-time perspective of the things that she would want to have and know in between and during her fellowship. So she'll be going on to Amgen, working on the obesity team in medical affairs with the Amgen Howard Fellowship for 2 years. And so her unique perspective of actually going through her fellowship in real time, adding to what Kevin Darko has with him being out of a fellowship for 2 years, working as a full-time, working on a couple of FDA submissions as a regulatory affairs, and then partnering with myself, who's been in the game for longer than 10 years, along a round of commercial roles, and has switched from a company that is leading for 150 years to a company that is the original biotech for 50 years. And so bringing those unique perspectives to our professionals programming on the foundation of what we've already built for proteges is what I'm most excited for. And by the way, you can't get everything I just said unless you are a Pills Plus member. So please, if you're watching us on Instagram, it's the link in the bio. If you're on YouTube and or Twitter, it is on our website, the direct link. I'm sure Dr. Blackwell will find a way to type our website and or drop the link for you to do an easy click. But it is www, our website, pillsenterprises.org. But then our Instagram website, click that link, become a Pills Plus member today. For the proteges for 2027, early bird lifetime membership is included as you submit that application. Make sure we only got, for anybody, professional or student, you only got a couple of days left. So we want to have you in there. With that, that's what I'm most excited for, to truly see and feel the leadership impact of people who have just stepped onto the national leadership stage 3 to 6 months ago. It's exciting to feel and have those people supporting the big vision. So for Josh, as I see you were giving all the details in the chat, I think we'll pivot to our last topic. We're going into year 10, a year that is truly redefining. So far, we've had a string of in-person meetups in terms of at conferences. I did do the keynotes for the SNAFA Regional 345 conference. We had Ogechi representing. She's both the only member of the national SNAFA team and also a Pills intern. And so having her represent, along with a few of our proteges, the national president of SNAFA, Precious, and a few others on the national team. And then lastly, we also, Pills for the first time, got paid to produce an experience for the incoming dean, where we partnered with one of our Pills partners at Studio 808 in Houston. We're looking forward to doing more of that this year, being in more support of in-person experiences. What are you looking forward to? Shout out to Black Health Connect, which is a lot of our in-person partners. What are you looking forward to in year 10?
Wow, in year 10, I'm looking forward to seeing Um, more growth from a standpoint of the outreach that we have in different spheres of healthcare, whether it's through schools, partnerships, deals. I'm looking for, Pills merch, Pills marketing. There's a lot of things that are on the horizon that Gio, as the CEO, is cooking, y'all. And so, as y'all know, he stay in the kitchen. So it's definitely something that I'm excited for. When it comes to in-person meetups, I think that just seeing y'all, like I do miss seeing, the fam somehow or another. Usually somebody is either getting married or having a birthday. And so I don't know who's doing that this year. Maybe it's a baby. I don't know. But like I'm looking forward to seeing how we just come together as a family and as a unit, and really change the game. I'm looking also forward to this platform that we're building. This platform, I believe, is going to manifest the next leaders of different healthcare organizations. So, if you know of a healthcare organization, the president is going to stem from Pills. If you know of a organization or a new foundation, it stemmed from Pills. Even if you think about architect, design, real estate, it stemmed from Pills. And so I think that's something that I'm looking forward to, because when that happens, I truly believe we will literally mean at every stage. And I think that's what we're seeking to do. And I'm excited to be a part of that.
Yeah. Um, for me, to the same point that you made, you said it earlier. Like, I'm excited to see the systems that we're building start to operationalize. It's one thing to put some stuff on paper. It's another thing to start to see the systems, both with technology, but then also leadership systems that we're putting in place take root. And so I mentioned that I was the keynote for the Stanford conference, but I also had the unique privilege of bringing on two of our founding members, Chan being our founding protege, Dr. Chandler Scheck-Schneider and Dr. Onye Ononobu, who's also a professor at the University of Houston. And both of them have their own companies outside of Pills.
Mhm.
It was exciting to bring them on stage with me to do a keynote conversation, is what I coined it, around the obstacles we faced, but then also the opportunity to always leverage your platform for other leaders. And so the systems of thinking that way, but more importantly, the systems of acting that way once our leaders are on stage, literally and figuratively, we're working with and collaborating with other leaders. We're bringing true value financially, socially, to our profession, and we're truly redefining the look, face, and feel of healthcare, along both practical and tactical stages. I think a lot of what we've heard from the people that benefit from our organization, which is great, is how they've personally benefited. What I'm looking forward to, going back to the anchor of systems, is how we're scaling that to people seeing how connected we are and we're moving collectively together. People understand that their achievements is a byproduct of them both in real time and in future times continuing to work across, behind, and above at the same time, multi-generationally. And then lastly, making sure that, because it will happen once people hit those setbacks, once people hit those obstacles, they don't just separate by themselves. They've been in a system that takes root to truly support them, because they've poured into so much of it and it's pouring back into them, and making sure that they're only in that valley for as much time as they need. Because sometimes you do need it. Sometimes you need to reset. Sometimes you need to reflect. But that you know that you're not alone, and that we've created the system to both see that and find that, because we can tell with from an engagement, both in person and online, but also because that's just how we've been built, and we've been building for 10 years, and it takes about 10 years to do anything great. So excited that we're coming up on that.
That's amazing. And yeah, you definitely said it. The key is, though, vulnerability, which is why that's one of our four V's. And I hope that that's something that I do hope that Pills is a platform where you can feel safe to be seen and vulnerable at the same time. So really looking forward to these 10 years, like you said.
Yeah. And so with that, we're coming up on literally 30 minutes. Josh said, let's do this in 15. But we always, as leaders, know you set the goal and you just over deliver. And so want to end this saying, one, thank you, Josh and I. are very gratuitous to have your attention for about 30 minutes today. You can be watching this live, or you can be watching this on our rebroadcast as we share this across our platforms, and some of them will stay and some of them will disappear. Part two, big shout out to my fellow brother for becoming a fellow of a nationally recognized organization, and not just the nationally recognized organization for health systems pharmacists, which he is. Over a decade of impact, not just on our stage, but on local, regional, and national stages. We're proud of you. And then for those watching, we only have a few more days for our early bird special across our PILS membership, but then also across our protege program. Whether you're a student, whether you are a early career professional, or you're an established professional, this platform is for you, both today and in the future. We want to make sure you take advantage of the lifetime membership. That is the best value of anything that you can do personally and professionally right now, especially for lifetime. It's a lifetime thing. For those of you who on 4/1 get there, it's still a great opportunity. The value, though, could have just been better a couple of hours before. So looking forward to seeing you on our PILS Plus membership platform. The links are on our website, www.pilsenterprises.org, on our Instagram, on our personal platforms, because we live and breathe PILS. As you can tell by the hat, as you can tell by the background, as you can tell by the hoodie. And yes, PILS merch is coming back soon. It's the original rebrand, purple, purple PILS. Dr. Blackwell, as I often do, I'm gonna leave the last words to you.
No, I mean, I think you said it all, but definitely join the platform before the prices go up, because they are going up. If you know the dynamics between my fellow brother and I, normally I'm the ones that save the price, but y'all, I no longer can do that. The CEO and president, the new CEO and president has spoken, and I'm taking a step back, as y'all know. And so the prices are going up. And so we really want you to make sure that you're in the community, in the platform, because it's only going to go up from here. So while we're still kind of building underground and we haven't budded yet, it's coming. The sun is out, we're coming out. And so I really want y'all to join the platform and literally be with us at every stage.
Yep. Looking forward to having y'all in there. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Excited for what's to come. Q1 is almost behind us, but we still got a few days. So take advantage of the few days of Q1 of March. Go blue for March Madness. That's shout out to University of Houston. Y'all fought hard, but now I got to ride with, here go to him. Got to ride with the blue on the men's and the women's. And we'll see you at the finish line. Hopefully y'all get into the PILS Plus membership before March Madness. It's over. Don't wait till April. Don't become no April Fool now.
Anyway, okay, but don't matter. So anyway, we'll talk with y'all later. We love y'all and be safe.